I'd like to welcome everybody to today's webinar. My name is Emily. I get to serve as Liquid's Vice President of Marketing. Also on with me today, I've got Kavita, a Senior Engagement Manager here at Liquid, and Melanie, our Digital Marketing Team Lead, Senior Strategist, and star of today's show. Melanie's got about 20-25 minutes of really invaluable, insightful info for us today. That'll give us a little time for questions at the end. So at any point, feel free to use the Q&A feature to ask questions, and we'll get to what we can in the final minutes. But without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Melanie with the lowdown.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining. Yes, let's start with the lowdown. My name is
Mel, I think you're muted.
Oh my goodness. So sorry, everyone. Hello.
Oh, good.
My name is Melanie Cellini. I am the digital marketing team lead here at Liquid. I also serve as a senior strategist on multiple accounts. So I have about 10 years of campaign planning, strategizing, and reporting experience, 5 of those at Liquid. So I'm going to walk you through today's webinar. We're going to talk about a couple campaign planning mistakes that I just see clients make sometimes. And I think that it should help us set ourselves up for a really good framework and good place to start with campaigns. So what I'm going to do is read through 5 mistakes that you may be making and then talk about some tips to overcome them. And at the end, like we said, we will take questions. So we'll get started. So mistake number 1. Not starting by defining your number 1 goal. So this may seem obvious, but we tend to see that people are trying to do a little bit too much at one time. So we just want to start by defining your number 1 goal. So let's walk through 2 examples here. So say goal number 1, you're trying to increase your demo signups for your new software. So you might lean into some channel and tactics like heavy lead generation channels such as Google Search, LinkedIn, Google Demand Gen. Maybe you want to set up an email nurture to nurture leads when they sign up for your demo, or if you already have them in your system, kind of nurture them to get a demo eventually. You may be setting up your ads to optimize for form submissions, and then maybe you're looking at success metrics like number of form submissions, PDF downloads, website visits, all of that. Versus goal number 2 here, maybe you're trying to raise awareness for your new sports drink flavor. Some channels and tactics you would be looking at here are more awareness-based. So these might be a little bit cheaper of channels and tactics versus some heavy lead gen stuff like in goal number 1. So maybe channels such as Facebook and Instagram, or an audio or video driven channel like Spotify and Hulu, maybe YouTube, and then maybe a one-time email blast to your subscriber list to tell them about your new sports drink flavor. Ad setup, maybe be optimizing for impressions, reach, or video views. So getting in front of people who are more likely to stick around and watch your video. And then looking at success metrics like video watches, video completion rates, maybe reach and impressions, and then clicks to the website and click-through rate. So really, your entire approach should be derived from that number 1 goal. It could differ greatly depending on it. If you think about what your number 1 goal would impact, it could be your key messages. So what are you trying to get across in the ads? Do you want people to sign up for a demo? Do you want them to just be educated about something in your industry? That can really be derived from that number 1 goal. Your channels and tactics, like we just talked about, could be really different depending on lead generation or awareness-based, or maybe you're trying to get more followers for your campaign. Targeting could be really different. Maybe you're trying to talk to just the people at the bottom of the funnel, really niche group, versus more awareness-based at the top of the funnel, just letting people know about your sports drink flavor, for example. Content created, when we think about lead gen campaigns, we're typically creating content like downloadables or white papers, how-to guides, things like that, versus maybe an awareness-based campaign where you're creating, video ads that are educational, or maybe a story ad, for example. The way your ad setup could be different, like we talked about, how you're going to optimize your ads, and then your success metrics. So really the metrics that you're going to report on and look at could really differ pretty greatly here. So tips for establishing your number 1 goal. So first, determine what success looks like. So is it a high number of impressions? Are you trying to increase your brand exposure? Is it new demos scheduled, increasing qualified leads for your sales team? Is it new purchases, increasing revenue for your brand? Like really think about what success would look like. From there, you want to pull out and prioritize the must-haves from the nice-to-have. So of course, if you want to get purchases and social followers, that would be awesome. But let's just focus on one of them. You can always run 2 separate campaigns, but really just everything is derived from that number 1 goal. So just focus on whatever that may be. So maybe we focus on purchases rather than followers here. Lastly, consider where your customers are in the sales funnel and what it would realistically take to move them along. So if somebody's never heard of you before, maybe you're in a brand new industry, consider, if somebody's never heard of you, can we get them to fill out the form and request a demo? Maybe we need to educate them first. Maybe we need to build that awareness before we try to ask too much of them. So just consider where they're at and how far down the sales funnel they already are. Moving on to mistake number 2. So establishing ad spend before your channel research and projections. So this does not mean that you have an infinite budget. I know that, but you would just be surprised at what could be gained or lost by not doing your due diligence here. So the best way I thought of describing this was using a Goldilocks fairy tale here. So let's think about this method here by talking about what happens if you have too little ad spend. So really you would just be limiting your campaign. So maybe your audience is active on a more costly channel like LinkedIn, thanks to its unique targeting ability, but you're not going to go there because you can't reach them. You don't have enough budget. Or your audience may be more competitive to reach than you realize and therefore more expensive to target. Maybe you're unable to reach all of your key audiences. If you have a bunch of audiences that you want to reach, you don't have enough money, enough budget to get there, then it's going to be a challenge. You may be limited in how many ads you can run and therefore have to scale back your messages or placements. And then lastly, your campaign may only reach a small percentage of your audience. Versus if you have too much ad spend, well, you would just be wasting your budget. So you might have a small geographic region, which means you can reach them with less money, which really is not a bad thing. Your product or service is made for a really niche group of people, so it just takes less money to reach them. Or your ad frequency is just getting too high and your audience is tired of seeing your ads. So I know that we've all been like watching videos on Hulu and we get the same ad over and over and over again, and you are just like, if I see this ad one more time, I'm going to scream. So obviously we don't want to do that. We don't want people to get annoyed with our ads. We want them to see it enough that they are interested and engaged with the content, but not enough to the point to drive them crazy. So how do we get our ad spend just right? So first, you want to learn all you can about your target audience. Maybe you need to interview your sales team or talk to people that are in the industry, learn about their interests, learn about their behaviors, what current roles do they have, where are they located, learn all you can about your target audience. Next, you want to leverage what you've learned to build them out. So literally go into Facebook or LinkedIn, Google, wherever, and start putting those behaviors and interests into the platform. Start thinking about how you're going to target them and see if there's even an audience available on that platform. So number 3, review the audience size projections from each. If you're on a platform, you've input everything you can and it's telling you you're below minimums for it, then yeah, you probably don't want to run ads on that channel. There's not enough people in your audience there. Finally, you're going to forecast the amount of budget that's necessary to reach your number and necessary for you to reach your audience and your number 1 goal. So we like to take the audience size and base that your budget based off of like a CPM, so a cost per 1,000 views. So what it would realistically take to reach that size audience and then also accomplish that number 1 goal. Mistake number 3, not developing campaign-specific landing pages or content. So in this example, what if this Nike ad, which is all about training and gym shoes, it's about women's and Nike's Metcons, you click on that and it takes you to, this is their homepage. So yes, there are shoes on here, but it's not the Nike Metcons I was looking for. If I wanted to find them, I'd have to search for them on this page. It is just not an easy one-to-one here. I'm not finding the product that I was interested in. Likewise, what if this MailChimp ad, which is all about personalizing content, talking about email and SMS messaging, you click on this and it takes you to a page about analytics tools and reporting. So it's just not a great experience. So it's confusing, and let alone you're probably not going to end up converting based off of this because it's not what you were looking for and the destination does not have the right next step for you. So let's talk about some campaign destination must-haves. So first, you really want similar messaging and visuals across your marketing materials. So it's a seamless transition from your ads or emails to the landing page. So they really need to be in sync. Your copy and design should be tailored with the target audience in mind. So you really want to speak to their pain points, use the same language that they're using and they're familiar with in your assets. Lastly, you want an offer that's developed with your target audience in mind. So really ask yourself, what would they find most valuable right now? So is it like an info-packed resource, like a how-to guide? Maybe it's a product demo, a special promotion, whatever it may be. What would they find most interesting and on that landing page? And you can get them to convert from that. So let's talk about this example here. This is HubSpot. I saw this ad on Facebook and it was about closing deals faster than ever, talking about getting a demo of their sales hub. So when you click on that, it takes you to this landing page. It says get a free demo of the HubSpot sales software, all of that in there. So similar messaging between these two, speed up the sales process, help close more leads. The messaging is obviously very tailored to someone in sales. It says it over both of these. It's talking a lot about sales. And lastly, the lead magnet or the form matches exactly to the copy in the ad, and it's the right next step for the audience. So this is just a great example of a seamless transition from a campaign to a campaign landing page. Mistake number 4, not considering nurture or warm audience opportunities. So remarketing and retargeting is an almost guaranteed way to boost your engagement while also decreasing the cost to reach each user. This really is a no-brainer. I feel like everyone should be using something like this. If you can keep your cost low and increase engagement, why not do it? So definitely recommend using this in your campaign. So let's walk through a few examples. So I was on Chewy's website the other day looking up chicken and rice dog food for my beloved cannoli. Is that not the cutest picture of him ever? So I was buying chicken and rice dog food, and lo and behold, afterwards, I got ad after ad after ad on Facebook about dog food. So some of them were related to dog food, others were bones and other things that maybe a dog would be interested in. So this is all known because I was on their website looking up dog things, and it's, they wanted me to come back and buy the dog food, but also I could buy other things at the same time. So when I came back to the website, I didn't purchase immediately because I got distracted, but when I came back to the website later, I did end up buying the dog food, but I also bought some bones and other things for him. So it's just a great example of keeping the products top of mind, for the next couple of days. I continued to see these, and it reminded me that I still needed to buy his dog food. So I did end up going back and purchasing it. Another example here, I was on YouTube, on the Prior Learning YouTube channel. I was looking up some training courses for our team, specifically about Excel. And after watching a couple videos, I got ad after ad after ad of Excel training courses that or ads about Excel training courses that I could click through and learn more about. So this is, again, another great example of just keeping a topic top of mind by using remarketing and retargeting here. I already showed interest in it because I was watching a YouTube video, and so this just continued to remind me that it was there. Some must-have retargeting and remarketing audiences. Number 1, retargeting previous video viewers based on how long they watch the video. This is something I almost always set up if we have a video to use. Usually what I like to do is have an audience set up for people that watched maybe 50% of the video, so they showed interest in it, and they watched 50%. So now I want to hit them with something a little bit more down the funnel, maybe have a single image ad that's about a demo that they could sign up for. So because they had shown previous interest, I now want to kind of bring them down the funnel a little bit more and hit them with something else. So that is something I highly recommend doing if you have videos to use in your marketing. Number 2 here, retargeting those who visited your website but didn't convert. So kind of like the abandoned cart idea, just underscoring the importance of setting up end-to-end tracking here, also very important. Lastly, if you have leader customer email list, use them to your advantage. If you have them, might as well put them to good use here. Mistake number 5, failing to set up end-to-end tracking. So I am an analytics girl at heart. I think reporting is so important so you can really dig into the data. So I think that this is one of the bigger mistakes. If you don't set it up, it's just a great opportunity, something that you could implement and start, analyzing your ads in more detail. So let's walk through 3 mysteries. We're going to play detective here and help solve these mysteries. So mystery number 1, your product team asks which of your products are getting the most traction in your Facebook ad campaign. So how would we solve this? We would use UTM parameters, also known as tracked links. Oh, sorry. UTM parameters are just like a string of characters that you can put at the end of a URL, and it helps what your website traffic, or it helps Google Analytics see what the website traffic is coming from. So it lets you know the source and some other details about it. So it's just very valuable in determining which ads are most successful and which could be further optimized. So just for an example, if you were to not use UTM parameters, you might see that somebody just came from Facebook, or they just came from Google, or maybe it comes through as direct traffic. Whereas if you were to use UTM parameters and somebody clicked on, say, your Facebook ad, I would be able to see that they came from Facebook. It was a story ad. It was the story ad with the guy with the blue shirt on, and it had this specific messaging in it. So you can really start to dig in and see what's performing well and what's not. So maybe I go back and I look and I say, yep, that guy with the blue shirt, that graphic is doing exceptionally well. Maybe we should use that like across other things, or maybe it's the messaging that's really working well. Maybe we use that more. Mystery number 2. So your boss asks you what the return on your LinkedIn ad campaign is. So how do we solve that? Website conversion tracking. So conversion tracking through GA4 helps gauge engagement on your website by signaling when an event has occurred, like a form submission, a video view, maybe a download, a key page click, all of that. So combined with UTM parameters like we just talked about, that can help you understand how many conversions occurred from your LinkedIn ad campaign and just give your boss an idea of the campaign investment here. So really important to have this set up. You don't want to be operating in like a black hole and not know what's happening. So this just gives you a lot of great insight into your ad campaign. Mystery number 3, your sales team wants to re-engage website visitors who didn't sign up for a demo. So how do we solve that? We would use a tracking pixel. So a tracking pixel is a piece of code that you can put on your website that will communicate back to the ad channels like Facebook and LinkedIn when a user has loaded the website or converted on your ad. So they're really the backbone of your website retargeting audiences, and they play a really important role in helping the ad platforms optimize based on users' interactions. So I definitely recommend implementing these if you can. So just kind of summarizing this, tracking your campaigns from end to end is really the only way to prove if it was successful or not. So highly recommend it. This is super important. Number 2, when a campaign isn't performing as you'd expect, this level of tracking can help you investigate why. So again, like we talked about, you can really dig into exactly which of the ads are performing well, which are not, and then that can help you decide on which adjustments you would like to make. And those tracking pixels communicate back to the ad platforms. They allow you to leverage the machine learning and optimize it based on performance. So I've told you all of the mistakes to make, but let's now talk about some of the things you can do. So this is like your new campaign planning checklist. So just start by defining your goal first and foremost. That's the most important thing. Like I said, everything is kind of derived from that. So you really want to pinpoint that first goal. Your audience research should be done before finalizing your budget. Again, very important. You don't want too little. You don't want too much. You want it just right. Then develop your campaign-specific landing pages that are in sync with your ad campaign. Again, they need to be speaking the same languages. Everything should be in sync, similar design and copy. Everything should be working together as one. Always consider your warm audience opportunities like remarketing and retargeting. Again, it's a no-brainer. It really does work. I would highly recommend implementing that. And lastly, set up tracking before launch so you can monitor and improve the campaign and prove if it was a success. So, oh, how did he get in there? Thank you all for joining today. I really appreciate it. I hope that this helps set some framework for any upcoming campaigns you have. And then you can track it all the way through and know exactly which ads are performing best and make optimizations based on that.